Hello, welcome to Hellstormwargaming. My name's Mikey, and this weekend, I bought way too much stuff. This weekend was the UK Games Expo, which is the largest UK convention, one of the largest conventions in the world. I think there was 40,000 individual people or 72,000 attendees in total, like going in and out, which is pretty mad. It's a pretty large event for tabletop, board gaming, wargaming, RPG, and just general nerd stuff. Whilst I've obviously bought quite a lot of stuff, you'll notice there's a distinct lack of Warhammer because they don't go. They aren't at the UK Games Expo, which is very weird. But anyway, there is a lot of Warhammer stuff. There's also a lot of Warhammer adjacent stuff. But there's also lots of other creators. So I wanted to tell you what I bought. The main thing I actually went for was actually this one right in front of me. This is Star Wars Shatterpoint. I Am No Jedi Deluxe Dual Pack. This was a limited edition event exclusive that's only available, I might be wrong, but Adepticon, Nova, and the UK Games Expo, which is obviously a very iconic scene, but I wanted one because it just looked really cool, and I really like Darth Vader. And I recently painted Darth Vader on the channel, where I did some OSL. I painted another Darth Vader sculpt, but this is obviously the one from Rebels. There's an alternate Darth Vader head option, which I haven't looked at yet. I'm excited to see. The miniatures look really nice. This was event exclusive, and I think they only had like a certain number. And it was really weird because I kind of went up on the Friday, and it was like dead. I went up to them, I was like, hello, I would like to buy your event exclusive. And they were like, have you got your card, your ticket? And I was like, how do I get a ticket? You had to go on like Eventbrite or something and essentially buy a ticket, which is free, to reserve one copy, and then you could go buy one. So I didn't know about that on the Friday, missed out on it on the second day, and then thankfully on the third day I managed to get one. I think I had a little bit of FOMO, that's mostly why I bought it, but I really like Shatterpoint. It's such a fun game. I've played it loads on the channel. I think Star Wars games get overlooked sometimes, especially in our community. I think other people and other communities promote them really well, but they kind of don't really break out the mold very often. So I'm excited. Maybe I'll put it on the channel. It's really cool. I love the OSL. I love the Sith Temple. I love Vader. He's cool. What more can I say? So that was the main thing I went to buy. So everything else was kind of a little bit of a bonus. Now, UK Games Expo has a lot of manufacturers. It has a lot of play areas where you can go like try board games, try new games. Like we just mentioned, Atomic Mass Games they had Star Wars Legion and Star Wars Shatterpoint demos you can go get involved with. They also had a huge Star Wars Unlimited stand that you could just go and try the game out. They also ran tournaments and stuff like that. And they had obviously loads of other companies which we're going to get onto, but also they have like an artist, like a heavy artist village, but it's kind of like spread out a little bit everywhere. I'm not really sure how UK Games Expo arranged the hall. It does kind of feel like a lot of gobbledygook. There'll be like Element and like Colour Forge, and then there'll be like some guy who's like a one-man band on his own with a little artist stand. And then it'll be like Asmodee. But there's a lot of like independent stuff which I got. I got these cool stickers. This is from Rachel Ham, who's like an Etsy designer that did these like pixel art Dark Souls stickers. I know this isn't like tabletop related at all, but I just thought they were really cool because you can get loads of little bits and stuff, bits like that, like this Live and Learn patch that Georgie got for me. And then this DBZ LBGTQIA sticker that I also got, which I'm probably going to give to my brother because he's a huge DBZ fan. Yeah, I thought it was just really cool. And then from the same stand, I got some really cool art prints. So these are by Seiyan Hajime. So I got this Godzilla one, which I thought was really sick. Very much like you can see it's been drawn, but I just thought the design was cool. And then I got this Evangelion one, which was also very, very sick. Very, very cool. I love the colors. So they were nice. They were really, really cool. Yeah, I also got some other miniatures. Now I got this Dracula's the Cunning from Archon Studios. Now Archon Studios doing some crazy cool stuff. They had like a really, really large stand actually. I've never actually worked with any of their plastics before or anything like that, but they did have the Dungeons and Lasers dragons, which are all £25 each. Now you might have seen Midwinter Mini's video a couple of months ago where he painted like a xenomorph dragon, which is really cool. And he was like using it in his Tyranids army or whatever. But this is £25. It's called Dracula's the Cunning. It's not quite a zombie, just like a really angry dragon. And I was like, that is the perfect base for an old world Chaos Lord on Dragon. I've been playing a bit of Old World. I've been really enjoying it. And Chaos Warriors dragons are like one of the best units in the game. And Games Workshop don't sell them. But I saw this and I was like, I kind of had an idea for a conversion, but this is £25 and I kind of wanted to try it out. It's 132 millimeters tall, so 13 centimeters. And I was kind of like, for that price, it would be rude not to have a look. Archon Studios are doing some really cool stuff because they're making like, I don't know what they call it, but it's kind of like pre-painted on sprue terrain. And they just come out with this like new miniature that is like Bloodthirster / Balrog mixed together, which looked very, very cool. It was a little bit out of my price range, so I wanted to try something a little bit smaller. And by smaller, I got a huge ass dragon. So they look really cool. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just wanted to buy one and try it out, and it just looked really fun. But I did try out a whole bunch of other games. The great thing about UK Games Expo or conventions in general, you can kind of just try games and then there's no strings attached. If you just want to try one and then you're like, I love this game, you can buy some. And if you don't love it, you can just bin it off. Now, one game I did try was a game called Hard War by Modiphius. You might know Modiphius because they make Fallout, Skyrim, Star Trek, but they have another game coming out called Hard War, and it's based on another video game, but I actually got a demo with a guy called Jamie. He's lovely, and that was really, really fun. And they actually, spoilers, I knew the game was coming. I pre-booked a demo because they actually sent me a whole set of it before the event, which I built up today. It was very quick, very fast-paced, but very, very like straight into the action miniature skirmish game, but with tanks and walkers. So it was right up my street. Me and Jamie had a really fun game. And they've sent me a bunch of miniatures, and I kind of was like, I don't know if this is for me. When I saw them, I was kind of like, is this game for me? But then I gave it a go, and it was kind of like rolling D12s, adding them together, and then with crits and exploding and stuff like that. And then I was kind of like, okay, maybe I am in. Maybe I am in this game. So I came back, and then I built all these miniatures straight away so I could show them for this video. But they're really, really cool. I played against a little titan called Boris, and I absolutely obliterated him, and I felt really bad. Hard War's coming to Kickstarter soon. I'm not sure the full details, but future me will tell you a little bit more about it. So they're really cool. The miniatures are really, really nice. I'm excited to paint them up. I might paint them up like the picture they have on the website, or I might paint them up in a different scheme. I'm not 100% sure yet. This is like a tiny game I can really see myself getting into. Small scale games can get a bit lost on me when it's kind of like loads and loads of stuff. This is kind of like a small scale game, but it doesn't take up a lot of space, which is actually really nice. So that was Hard War by Modiphius. Again, there's a Kickstarter coming soon. I'll leave links to stuff in the description, and also I'll mention, as you saw on screen, if I've been given stuff for free because I'm a YouTuber, not because I'm at an event, it'll say hashtag ad or gifted. So next up, I actually bought a really random thing, which is a space dwarf. This is a dreadnought by Outpost Games. And the only reason I bought it is because it says Hellstorm autocannon. But it's really cool. It's really like a proper classic dwarf model. And it's definitely reminiscent of classic GW because you've got like the red foam and then the miniature in the clamp pack that you can see. It just reminded me of like buying miniatures in like the early 2000s when I first got into Warhammer. But also it's kind of a cool space dwarf and he's got my name. So I felt like it was like, how can I not pick him up? He's amazing. So that was cute. So Outpost Games, they do loads of really cool stuff. They've got like loads of like classic dwarves, classic orks and stuff like that. That's like heavily inspired from like that period. And it's like goblin green bases and all that. So if you like classic miniatures, but you don't want to pay classic miniature price, then check out Outpost Games because they're like really, really close and you get a similar vibe. So next, I ended up buying some dice from a YouTube you might have heard of, known as Midwinter Minis. They seem cool. They gave me weird vibes, but I bought some. No, I'm joking. I love Guy. So Guy was there. He was working with Tempest Terrain. Him and Little Plastic People, both good friends of mine, were like kind of like they were all sharing a stand. Tempest Terrain make the dice boxes. They're like rapid fire dice boxes, which we use on the channel all the time. I have one here. It's kind of like a dice hopper. So you kind of like take your dice out in sets of 5s. Which are really cool. I see a lot of people like, I don't like dice rollers. It's not a dice roller. What you do is you take your dice out in sets of 5 when you need them, you roll them, do whatever you want, and then you can chuck them back in the hopper. And then it sets them into 5s again, because I play a lot of Warhammer, and being able to grab in multiples of 5 makes my life a lot easier. So they were there. They have a new Kickstarter coming out soon as well, which is the fantasy version, because obviously that looks like an Imperial crate, which is really cool. Well, they have like a fantasy version coming out soon on Kickstarter as well. And they were sharing a stand with Little Plastic People, my good friend Steve, who makes lots of like cool busts and custom miniatures and stuff like that for Warhammer. And then Guy was there selling his new dice. I really like these dice purely because they're square. Something about square dice is very satisfying, but they did roll really bad. 5 6s. Okay, that's pretty good average. And 1 1. All right, 3 1s. Okay, so these aren't too bad. But yeah, there's something satisfying. I know I should probably sell square dice. I do sell dice. There's a link in the description. They're just so satisfying to roll. I don't think I'd be able to concentrate on Warhammer if I had square dice. I'm trying to do this video, but I'm just enjoying rolling them so much. So I bought some dice from Guy. We love Guy. He's a lovely guy. Okay, next was one that I was very excited to have a look at, was Gundam Assemble and Gundam the card game. Now, the problem with Gundam Assemble and Gundam the card game is that I'm not the only person who is very interested in Gundam Assemble and Gundam the card game. So much so that the queue to have a demo of the card game was 40 minutes long. But that 40 minutes wasn't to go play, that was to register your interest for a demo and book a time. So obviously, like events like this, popular games can be a problem when you actually want to go play them. You kind of have to decide how much you want to commit to it, like commit to the bit of like, do you want to go play this game or would you rather go do other stuff? I kind of wish I'd stuck around and got a demo. I didn't have the time or the energy, but I did manage to go and get a miniature. So this is Zaku Cha from Gundam the card game. I don't do card games too much, but I'm quite excited for this one. But this is the same miniature that'll be coming out for Gundam Assemble, which is the miniatures game, which is coming out next year. The only difference is it has a different base. So in the Gundam the card game, they have a round base. In Gundam Assemble, the miniatures game, as far as what we've seen, they actually have a hex base. Now, the miniature's really nice. It's a really cool scale. Again, probably like 40, 50 mil scale or something like that. It's on a 50 mil base, as far as I can see. Gundam is something I've been like really trying to get into. I've built a couple myself. I've got like videos planned with Gundam and with Gunpla kits, and this is definitely being added to the list. I have a really cool video idea for this guy, but you might notice he's unpainted. It just says thank you on the base as part of like the paint and take thing, because a lot of places do that. It was like you have to build it and you have to put some paint on the miniature to take it home, and obviously I wanted to do it for a video, so I filmed myself building it kind of loosely, and then I just scribbled thank you in the paintbrush on the base, and he was like, yeah, you can take that home now. I was like, legend. It's a very, very nice miniature. It's very, very cool. Very excited to try the card game. I think the card game comes out like next month, but the miniatures are really, really sick. Really, really cool. And they gave me a free sticker. They gave me a Gundam sticker, which is very cute. Speaking of card game and miniatures, there's actually another game that I ended up having a demo of, which was called Malediction, which is a game by Loot Studios. I had a great game with one of the guys giving the demo called Dan. Now, Malediction is by Loot Studios, and if you don't know Loot Studios, they're actually a 3D printing design company, essentially. They're one of those companies that design a lot of models and sell STLs rather than physical products. But Malediction is a new game that they're bringing out, which is essentially a hybrid of cards/miniature games. Now, the nice thing is you buy a deck of cards, and the deck of cards has like 80 cards in there, which is like everything you'll need for a faction. In that deck of cards, you also get a code to unlock all of the miniatures and terrain pieces you'll need to play that faction. If you have a printer, this is all you need.
This is all you need. This
or a friend with a printer, right?
Or a friend, yeah.
We know how it is. So it's kind of like you pay 30 odd quid, 35, 40 quid or something to buy an entire army's worth of miniatures. And then because you print them, you can just print as many as you want, which I thought was really cool. A really interesting business model where it's really cheap for them because they just ship out cards, but then they just have all these files that they're essentially selling with it and bundling together. But the nice thing is if you don't have a 3D printer, they actually do a larger version, like a premium starter set, which has cardboard stand-ins for all of the miniatures that you'll need for a certain faction. So you buy that and then you have everything and you get the STLs if you find a printer later or you find a friend who's got a printer or whatever. That was a really interesting concept, a really interesting way to sell a game rather than like having a huge box full of miniatures. You just have a pack of cards like this big and then you just print everything you need. But the game's really fun. It was like a skirmish game where you have like a leader going into the Malediction, which for lack of a better term is purgatory. And there's like objectives on the board known as husks, and the husks are fallen heroes with relics, and you're trying to fight your opponent over these husks to dive in and grab a relic and then equip it to your character. So I got one that was like Helm of Wrath, which made my knight even more angry and he took less damage. And I got VP for doing it because it was like a prize relic that I was there hunting for. Yeah, it was really fun. You kind of like spend what they call echo to summon more things, bring more people in there. It was giving Lords of the Fallen, like a recent game that I've literally just finished. I've just completed like a couple of days ago. It giving Dark Souls, Elden Ring-esque, but Lords of the Fallen type vibe, where it's like super dark, grim fantasy with like this terrain pieces, like the troll blood just pouring out everywhere. It's just like looked so cool, and I really liked the concept of it. But sadly, I didn't manage picking it up. By the time I decided which ones I wanted, it was time to get out. A really fun little demo. Only one dice as well, all on a D20. which is kind of like a nice change up as well for like a miniatures game. And yeah, maybe I'll try and grab some and bring it on the channel. It was really fun. Another company that I worked very close with was there as well, called Warmag. You might have heard of them. I'll leave a link down to them. They did give me these two for free. You can use my link to get 10% off. They aren't sponsored. They don't know I'm making this video, but I do have a discount code, which gives you 10% off and I get a kickback. They gave me 2 new designs that they got, which is this one's Red Rum. I can't remember the name of this one, but essentially these are for magnetic cases. You put them in the bottom of a really useful box, and then when you've got miniatures with magnets on, they stick to it, and then you put them in the box, and they're really good for traveling. All of my miniatures, I put a short out a couple of weeks ago that shows all of my boxes. Every single one of my miniatures is Warmagged. You can obviously make these yourself if you want to, but the cool designs is what really sells them to me. And also it's just nice because these are the size of really useful boxes, like the 9-litre ones especially, 9 and 4-litre ones, rather than having to like mess about cutting them yourself. These are really, really good. And if you use the Warmag premium inserts, they're really flush. They take 2 seconds to install. They don't like fall off later down the line. They're a much better grip than using like neodymium magnets. Shout out to Warmag for hooking us up for some more. I really do need some more premium inserts there because I have gone through probably about 1,500 miniatures. And some of the larger ones I've used like multiple. So yeah, so shout out to Warmag for hooking us up with some more base sheets. Okay, before I get into the big ones, I had some more Artist Valley stuff. I went to a stall. Georgie sold me to a stall. You might notice the shirt I'm wearing, but also the art print that I have on the table, called Crusade. This print came free with this t-shirt I'm wearing, which is very cool, which is like a Game Master Hero Quest inspired one. They just had really cool shirts. I bought another one. I left it at home, but it's on screen now. The shirts are really, really cool. The design's really cool. It's very much like 80s Dark Souls, medieval fantasy-esque. But guys, I just love Dark Souls, and I've been playing Elden Ring Night Reign since I got back, which is why this video is delayed. I love video games and anime and dark fantasy stuff, you know? I'm pretty typical. They sell stuff online. The t-shirts are really cool. I think they're a really cool company. I think the designs are really cool. The t-shirts, I'm a big bloke, you know me, I'm quite large, but the t-shirts fit really nicely. I'm fitting really comfy, and they're really cool designs, so I'd check them out. I'll leave the link in the description. And then Georgie went to a small artist stand and got me some cool stuff. It was all Gundam themed, so she got me like a Gundam sticker, which is a Gundam and Pikachu holographic sticker, which is very cool. She got me Barbatos, like a breakdown card, which is really cute. And she got me this one because it had cats on it. So it's a Gundam with cats. So it's by a person called Hey I'm Helly on Instagram. So yeah, they have an Etsy as well. So again, they're just really cute. Georgie thought I would like it, and I do. Thank you, Georgie. Appreciate you. Love you lots. And then she also got me this Coin of Life or Death, which is also medieval dark fantasy, which is essentially a wondrous item you can use in like D&D and stuff from a place called Game Tea. And I just thought the coin was really cool. I don't play many RPGs, but if I do ever need a wondrous item of a coin, life or death, got one. It's really cool. It's like metal. It's really nice. Speaking of RPGs, you might have noticed I've got a whole bunch of D10s. There's loads of places. If you like RPG stuff or just need dice in general, I know I've advertised my own dice. I have a web store, I don't know if you knew. We bought a whole bunch of D10s and D100s because I'm doing an RPG soon. And maybe you'll hear a little bit about it very soon. But I've got like 4 sets. It was like 7 dice for like 3 or 4 quid or something. So I got like 4 different colors. I don't have a lot of D10s. I actually used some D10s recently on our Zia Genesis video. I just had to like buy some random ones on eBay and they look really crap. So it was nice to get some nice D10s, and I rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 10s out of 24 dice. That was pretty good. I don't remember the place I got these from though, so I don't know why I'm just telling you about some dice with the place I don't know where I got them from. But basically, if you want dice, go to Games Expo because they're really nice and there's lots of them. Now we're down to the big ones. You might notice we have a whole pile of stuff here, which is all Halo. Now this is Halo Flashpoint. Obviously, I've played Halo Flashpoint on the channel, but I bought a little bit more. As you might see, I got the one and only Master Chief. He's really cool. Only £12.50 for a miniature with a card as well, which is nice. Now these are like board game miniatures. Say with these, I'm not sure about this one yet, but I played Halo Flashpoint on the channel before, which I was just using the basic set. Recon edition, I think it was. But I did end up buying this one, which is Fireteam Hydra, which is essentially the Spartans that come in the Spartan edition, which I don't have. I also bought this one, which is Fireteam Cerberus. So like a lot of this doesn't matter. It's mostly just your starting equipment that you can start with, which is kind of cool. So we've got like Spartan with a needler. We've got Spartan with a pulse rifle, with a carbine, with a gravity hammer, a brute shotgun. I can't remember. Is it Brawler or something. They weren't too bad. They're like 20 quid, I think, 25 quid for 4 miniatures and some cards to play them. Some more options to start with, which is kind of nice. Again, like completing the set because I had the base edition and then like some extra stuff. And this one. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining about Halo Flashpoint. They don't want to play just Spartan versus Spartan because the Halo Flashpoint as a game is essentially a board game version of multiplayer. And people are like, well, I want to play Elites and I want to play other stuff. Now, they're actually bringing out The Banished next month, I think July, which is obviously the Elites and Brutes working together. But there's also this, which is really interesting, called the Wargames expansion pack. Now, on the cover of it, it just looks like more miniatures, which there are more miniatures, which is kind of nice. But this is the Wargames expansion because it actually has a Wargames booklet. So what this does is actually gives you a way to do match play, or like lack of a better term, match play games of Halo Flashpoint. So this actually adds points values to everything and gives you loads of extra tokens and gives you rules and updates for all of the cards and all of the Spartans that were already released. So I really liked Halo Flashpoint. I thought the game was really, really fun, but I'm very interested to see like how this expands it. And this was 35, which is essentially this plus a rulebook. I don't think that's a bad price. But if you haven't tried Halo Flashpoint, if you're interested, I definitely recommend trying to get a demo somewhere, maybe your local store. I think it's a really fun little game. I really, really enjoyed the mechanics. I thought the way it played was really fun. I liked the mission. Like we played like Oddball and stuff like that, which is really cool. So Halo Flashpoint, definitely an interesting one. Shout out to Mantic. I bought these and I wasn't given them, but definitely interested to try stuff and obviously finally got the man himself. But what is also really cool is all of this, which is from a company called Titanforge. Now, Titanforge are a 3D printing company, but they also sell physical miniatures at titanforge.com. I managed to play their new game called Bloodfields. Now, Bloodfields is another skirmish game. It was giving like Spearhead vibes, I would say. That was really fun. It was like a fantasy skirmish game. I was playing some like cool vampire hunters. My opponent was playing some, I'm not really sure what they were, but it was like a cool rhino that on stream someone pointed out is the rhinos from Robin Hood. It's the same paint job, which is very funny. They have a new Kickstarter that's coming soon with some new factions, such as the dwarves versus goblin dragons. I was kind of interested in the game. I thought some of the miniatures were cool. I liked the undead, but then I saw the goblin dragon. It's a dragon with a goblin strapped to his chest. And I was just like, I need this so bad. I need this so bad. It looks so good. But they didn't have any to give me or sell me that day. But they did give me a bunch of cool miniatures like the Dar Mushroom Mancer, which is cool. This is what Georgie chose. Georgie showed lots of mushroom things. So it's like a diseased mushroom knight, like an infected zombie knight, which looks really, really cool. She also got just shroom guys, just little guys, little shroom guys with little sticks. So they were cute. I managed to pick up the Padre Averno, which is kind of like a caster, just like a very classic wizard guy, which looked really fun. And then I also picked up Bjorn, Eric, and Olaf, which are, they look like Chaos Warriors type thing. They just look like classic medieval dark fantasy. You would have never have guessed, would you? But also they gave me Lobotomy 2 Manhunt. Now these are plastic miniatures. These aren't printed, I don't think. I love dungeon games. I love board games. I don't play many board games on the channel anymore, but this one just looked really cool. It says unravel all the mysteries by playing a story-driven campaign or set up a game in a daily nightmare mode with limited replayability. Choose from a diverse cast of characters whose power grows along with their insanity. But is hospital staff really a bunch of monsters, or ordinary objects actually mighty weapons, or is it all just in your head? So it was giving Silent Hill, to be honest. It was giving a little Silent Hill vibes, and the miniatures looked really, really cool. The characters look really fun. This is just a really big box of cool stuff. And they just gave this to me, which was very kind of them. They gave me those miniatures as well. So I'm excited to try these out. Maybe I'll try and paint some in like some painting videos. So I'm very excited to have a look at. And then finally was this other humongous box that I have next to me, which is a game called Apex Legends by the guys at Glass Cannon Unplugged. I actually did an interview with Jacob from Glass Cannon Unplugged like 2 years ago when I did my first UK Games Expo video. Their game was in the Kickstarter phase at that point, and now it's out. Now it's on the shelf. And this box is absolutely... Oh dear. Oh, I just broke one. It'll fix. This box is absolutely huge and it weighs an absolute ton. This is a box and a half. Now, they did give this to me for free, as well as a playmat as well. I love video games, as I mentioned. I'll be playing Elden Ring Night Rain. What is Elden Ring Reign based on? It's based on Fortnite. What is Apex Legends kind of like? It's kind of like Fortnite. This is a board game of a battle royale. So you have your 4 hunters, your 4 legends, and you are fighting the opposing 4 legends on a closing arena, which is really, really fun. I had a little demo of this a couple of years ago when it was first like in production. I really, really enjoyed it. I used to play quite a lot of Apex Legends. I wasn't that good. But essentially, the cool mechanic of this is you have the ring on the board. So every round, the ring gets smaller, so the board gets even smaller. Now, it's a very claustrophobic game. For like a miniatures game, there's a lot of terrain that you're trying to dart around. There's like weapons you can go in and find. They've called it a board game, but it is really a skirmish game. I remember talking to them about the fact that it was called a board game, and they were like, well, the thing is with it, you don't want to scare people away by calling it a skirmish game because people don't know what that is, but they know what a board game is. You've got like loads of miniatures, really cool terrain, and you've got the closing circle aspect, which just sounds really, really fun. So thank you to Glass Cannon Unplugged for giving us one of these. All the miniatures look amazing, and I'm very excited to have a look. That is everything I bought or was given at the UK Games Expo. Should you go to the UK Games Expo, I think I would highly recommend it. It's really fun. Now, the Friday and the Saturday are usually the worst days in terms of like heat and numbers, but Sunday is normally really quiet if you just wanted to go and have a little shop around. But if you just want to walk around and buy stuff, then that's the best day. If you want demos, go on the Friday. There is also a bring and buy section. There's a lot of complaints about the bring and buy because essentially what you do is you take all your miniatures, board games, boxed games basically. You have to queue up to like give them to the staff, and then the staff sell them for you. I think on Friday there's like a 4-hour wait to submit your board games to go sell them. I don't know if the bring and buy is a good idea when there's so many people and it doesn't cost anything to sell anything. Essentially, you give 10% of the profit that you sold your stuff to charity, which is like nothing in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, the bring and buy was fun. I went on the Sunday afternoon, so it was most good things had already been sold at that point. It's essentially just like second-hand board games and bits and bobs. There's a couple of Warhammer bits and bobs. There's like books and some new miniatures, but it wasn't anything I was like interested in. There was a classic hero quest, which I nearly bought, but I opened it up and I realized there's like a piece of paper that was like, it was like missing everything but like just the barbarian, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I wanted the miniatures, not just the card. And there was also like a Space Hulk, which was like £400 to buy brand new when it's cheap on eBay because people just set their own prices. But anyway, maybe I'll try and go to the bring and buy a little bit earlier. Maybe Friday afternoon might be a good time to go when people are just starting to flood in. But overall, fun event. It's the 20th anniversary next year, so hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.